Right, if you just joined us, you're still on to Enterprise Friday, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get to our conversation for this morning. We have it that convicted kidnapper Chukudubem Amadike alias Evans told the Lagos State High Court that he has repented and applied for mercy from the Lagos State government. Through his lawyer, Ameh Etodo, Evans pleaded not guilty to amended charges, including murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy to kidnap. The prosecution accused him of killing Peter Nweke and Chijoke Ngozi on August of 27, 2013. Evans and his co-defendant, Joseph Emeka, both applied for a plea bargain, with Evans' lawyer stating that his client has changed. He highlighted Evans' academic achievement in prison, including excelling in NACO exams and currently studying at the National Open University. Etedo proposed that Evans be allowed to visit schools to educate youths about the dangers of crime. The prosecution confirmed receiving Evans' plea bargain application and stated that it would be reviewed. Justice Adenike Kuka adjourned the case to March 20th, 2025 for a possible trial. After the hearing, Etodo emphasized that Evans' transformation was aided by the Redeemed Christian Church of God RCCG and the federal government, which granted him a scholarship. He asserted that Evans is now reformed and remorseful. We still have with us High Chief Peter Ameh. Thank you so very much, sir. We truly do appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. So let's speak to this matter. As much as it's believed that a second chance is very important and possible, do you think Evans needs a second chance?
No, I don't think so, because if he has enjoyed some part of the proceeds of the crime, he lives a very comfortable life, living in mansion where ordinary Nigerians are busy trying to, have a 9 to 5 job, so it is it will be bad, because it will show lack of accountability. Allowing a cleaner to plead for reduced sentence or even a pardon will show that there's no accountability for the actions that he has taken. Innocent lives, people have died. What did you know the trauma the family of those people are going through? What is the justice for them? Do you know the trauma they will further go through when they see that Evans is walking through on the street? We shouldn't allow our young people to come to the idea that they can commit such heinous crime, such heartless crime, and then seek for plea bargain. We must try to model our society in a way that will have more responsible people acting and passing who have not served for his crime, to be seeking for a plea bargain, so early, because that would be injustice to the victims. The victim family may feel that the plea bargain may, will affect them negatively. So it is important that we do not set precedent that will affect our young people, to think that there's a way out of crime when you commit such level of crime. There were people that were chained for months. Their hands and feet were chained with pain. One of the how they call it, the industrialist who gave his opinion on the issue. So you can't have that. And today, kidnapping has become a big thing. When people they hear that Evans, the billionaire kidnapper, people now saw, even the publication of that could have added to people seeing it as a lucrative business, because you know how the police went to his mansion, how his family went to Ghana and all that. I sympathize with the. The only thing I do not want is that people should not visit the crime of the father on their children. But for him, he has taken his part. He has taken a decision. For every society, people know right from wrong. People know evil from good. And you shouldn't learn that in prison. You shouldn't learn that after you must have committed and benefited from very devilish act against humanity and against innocent citizens of our country. The law should take its full course so that others can learn from it. And if we are needing people who will be ambassadors to talk to young people, it should be people who have been successful, people who have sacrificed their life, people who have worked in the Nigerian army and lost a limb, people who have gone to war and lost an arm, people who are nurses, like who tried to treat the COVID patient and died. So with the people who try to treat the nurses that notice the Ebola incident that almost we should have consumed Nigeria. These are people that we should have been taken to school as examples, and people who have taken job in public service like road traffic warders, like police, who are doing the right thing, should be people who will take, because you cannot wake up and decide to venture into high level criminality. It is not pickpocketing. It is murder. It is not just murder. It is fact that these people were chained and put on in a very, very dehumanizing condition. Some of them had depressing moment up to today and mental sense imbalance. So you can't do that to the victim. It will be a great justice to the victim, and it will be setting bad precedent for our young generations.
Yeah, it's very, very true. It's very profound that you stated this particular matter, how that he was living a very high-skilled life. And I would love to believe with what we have seen so far, it's possible that even incarcerated, he's still living a very great life over there. It's allegedly. But speak to us on this matter, especially as it concerns our judicial system in Nigeria. The first time he was sentenced to death, it changed to life imprisonment. Now he's asking for plea bargain. How do you think it might be possible that our judicial system might do what they know how to do best, and just before we know it, this man will be free and walking and flying like a bird?
Fortunate, it will be sad, because there are a lot of people who are on the death row. There's even this man from Osun State, a young man who was doing a master's degree was killed in his hotel, and the son, he was also been sentenced to death. So that means he can also come back for a review of his case for a pardon. So I think what we should do with the legal system must be very prompt, must be fast, because sometimes justice delayed can be justice denied, because he's still living his life. He's still happy. He's not on any death row. There's no conclusion of his case, and that's why he has the temerity and the courage to think that he can find a way out of this situation. For me, if Evans, he should act like those before him who said that yes, they have committed a crime, and the punishment for that crime is a deserving one, and that they should be courageous to accept, because when you go to invest money, when you put money, you expect profit. When you go to kill somebody, you expect the same level of treatment in return. So I don't think anybody should now start to form the level of pity and the level of trying to blackmail any judicial officers or blackmail the family of the people to say that Evans is now a changed man. You can't change after you've committed such level of crime, and the victims will suffer some level of psychological damage if such level of freedom is granted to Evans. There should be some level of punishment for the kind of crime Evans have committed.
True. And looking at the penchant for showing off right now, especially on social media, we see personalities showing off the wealth they have. We can't even ascertain where they got some of this monies from, but what we see is the lifestyle, the awesome lifestyle that they lived, which Evans equally was part of those who did some of that. He did lots of fundraising for his children's school, even for the church he belongs to. He gave so much money, and which is what we see today in our society. How do you think we can better solve the issue of frivolity, when we see that on social media, and the young people want to be like them?
I've met leaders in my lifetime who, whether past governors, past presidents, I've met a lot of leaders in this my lifetime that I've sat with them and discussed. But I also seen leaders who have decided to live very, live, to be able to show example. I remember I went to somewhere, somebody was telling, this person doesn't dash money. I said, this is the money we have been dashing ourselves and been sharing public money for a very long time. And Nigeria is not working. It's not working for you. It's not working for me. Why can't we just let it go and work for our next generation? We can't have a situation of where people in opulence, show some kind of wealth, because nobody, no businessman, no genuine businessman will make the kind of money that people are showing off and want to show it off. Dangote is not doing it.
Yes, exactly.
Is not doing it. If a man is rich, you know he's rich. There's no need for you to now come with the culture of spraying money, without sense of decorum, without sense of respect. If you are showbiz, it's a different thing. If you are doing it for a music video, you are doing it for a movie. But the level at which they are doing it, I think, is debasing the mental psychology of our young generation to think that all is about money. All is not about money. Yeah, money is important to be able to acquire goods and services, but the most important thing is how to make sure that there's a productive sector where people can be gainfully employed, people can participate, and people can believe that earning averagely and earning rightly is also the ultimate goal in achieving your life set out objective. So we can't have this kind of objective that for a child to grow up, you say, I want to be like those who are spraying money. It is not a society that we want to bequeath to our children. I think the society we should bequeath to our children is a society where you start to talk of Silicon Valleys, you talk of tech investors, you talk of people who can re-engineer the agricultural sector and then make Nigeria 39.6 million arable land a useful land investment that can benefit the general populace, and not the culture that money, all ways to money. It doesn't matter. Any way you lead to money, as long as you get the money, is justifiable. That shouldn't be what should teach our children. I think that is what has led a lot of people into crime. That's what is putting our young people to say that education is a scam. Education is not a scam, and morality is not a scam. It is not. All these things are very important, to develop a very stable, a very prosperous fabric of for national development.
Very, very true. Because you did say it here that amongst our young people, it's becoming very rampant to hear them say that education is a crime. And often, most of them want to be politicians because of what they see our politicians do. I am not a lawyer to differentiate types of crime, but as much as I know, violent crimes, white-collar crimes, they're all crimes. For Evans, he would have committed a violent crime. For our politicians, they commit white-collar crimes. At the end of the day, both crimes lead to the death of people. Now, do you think do you think it's okay for us to equally, maybe in our legal system, stop this plea bargain thing? Because we see politicians who steal 100 billion, 80 billion, and they're asked to do 500 million. Do you think we should stop this and allow these people pay for their crime?
I think plea bargain is coming because we do not have an effective our agencies are not effective enough to stop the crime in its tracks. We are mostly reactive instead of being proactive. We have we have the Code of Conduct Tribunal, the Code of Conduct Commission, the committee is bigger. CTC is bigger than the EFCC. Because it's about the code of conduct for public officers. And when you are getting to office, that's where you file all you have. And when you are going out, you file what you are living with. So the easier corruption can be tracked from code of conduct. And code of conduct is a creation of the Constitution, not like EFCC is a creation of an act or a subsidiary act of the legislative act of the presidency. So we have a problem where we are not proactive enough, while we are reactive, and that's why you see that weakens the level of authority that the EFCC or the ICPC or the Code of Conduct can do to be able to track the money that are left. So they are trying to get whatever that is available. We must now start to look at how possible best we can start to stop this thing, because it can be stopped if there's a will. There's no will, because if there's a will, if money goes to the banks. There's a limit you can transfer. If you are transferring 10 million, you must report it to CBN before it moves to the next account. CBN must clear it, and that's what takes 24 hours. So why is it that this money cannot be tracked as they are moving from billions to billions from one place to the other? So government is complicit in this matter, and the major problem comes from the Nigerian people, the docility of the Nigerian people, the collaboration of the Nigerian people. The acceptance of this norm by the Nigerian people. You get a young boy today, he gets into government as essay on economy, just essay. and he comes home and is putting two-story building in the village. He comes with convoy with people waving gun up everywhere. Nobody's going to ask. Before in my community where I come, they will ask you, what work are you doing? People will not relate with you until you are able to explain the level how you got to that wealth. But today you will start to see instant title be given. When people will start to now recognize that person in the church to sit in the front row. We have a situation that we are the one encouraging this decay. Nigerians must rise up. Nigerians will start to now identify those who are working genuinely, whether their salary is 200,000 or 150, and give them honor. That's why you now find out that awards, even for awards in organization now, they write to you, they say you should come and pay money, pay 300,000 so that we can give you award. I've told people several times, any award I don't deserve, don't call me for it, because I won't pay one naira. Because if I deserve it, call me. If I don't deserve it, if you write me later and you put that 150,000, 200,000 for processing fee, I will not take it. So these are the challenges we are having in our society, and it is the society itself that can clean itself. The society cannot expect anybody to come from Mars or come from any universe to come and help us to clean this thing. The society must start to have some level of resistance towards this unnecessary display of wealth, towards this unnecessary property accumulation. Nobody, look, the level at which we measure wealth or comfort is not the same thing is done in other world. You could go to some communities, very rich neighborhoods, everybody is living in bungalow, and probably they are paying through property insurance. And you can't have that same thing here. If you have a system where government, instead of building luxury, take about 300 billion naira, or let's say 3 trillion they were saving, they should have saved from fuel subsidy, and decide to build low-cost housing, and say wherever you work, whether formal or informal sector, whether public or non-public sector, that come and take a house and be paying 20,000 every month. Government doesn't have to make profit. Government was not established to make profit. Government was established to create welfare and for public good for the citizens of the people so that they can live a better life. And so in the next 30 years, you can live in this house and be paying 20,000 naira. You have taken a huge weight from the shoulder of your citizen. You are creating an enabling environment for the citizen to have a mental sense of judgment that he can think right and work well and deliver service to his master. So, but the problem is that government is not thinking in that direction, and they are frustrating genuine people from growing up. So we must start to identify this and go to be able to identify those who are genuinely working. It is not about, if you have a house, you have a car, and you will be able to go to a hospital, and you can get quality healthcare service, then you will not longer think of too many of these funny things. But if you go to Botswana today, as soon as you get to the university, your education is free. You will be paid money. If you stay in campus, you get about 2,000 of their money. If you stay off campus, you get less. Why can't we have free education? Why can't we have free public health system? Because the government is literally lighting our money on fire and not prioritizing the issues that will be welfare, that will be good for the people, by living on luxury and doing a repeated line item of buying vehicles. Our last year capital expenditure performed below 25%, but recurrent perform above 100%. So we have a challenge. For us to get it right and make our people more productive, we must not be segregating that this one works for government, this one does not work for government. It is for the public good, and that is the reason why government was created in the first place. All
right, my last question. We can't wrap up this conversation without, bringing in our security operatives in the case of crime, especially as regards Evans. Abakari, the police, chieftain, was largely instrumental in the arrest of Evans, and the same Abakari was equally involved in the hush puppy deal and allegation of cocaine he was about to release and $62,000 that was given to him as bribe and so on. How do we exfoliate the police force from crime itself, which of course they have been mandated under the Constitution to take care of?
It is our society. For the Abakari case, I saw it coming sincerely, because why will I say I saw it coming? Because when you start to be a police officer, and you start to attend public events where people spray money, where they do all sorts of things, there's a tendency that you will be drawn to it. And that's why you find out that there's this thing that judges don't appear in all these events so that they can be able to have, the necessary privacy and environment to think, like they should think in helping the country. Abba Kairi case is a very sad one. It contributed meaningfully to capturing those who were involved in very dangerous, deadly crime. But that this had happened, it is a lesson for a lot of people to know that even if you had gone up and grown in the police service and to a point you become a level, whether you make money or not, you would have gone with honor. Your children will be able to say, my dad was an Inspector General of Police, my dad was a Deputy Inspector General of Police, my dad was an IG. So you leave a reputation for your children that they can, stand upon and live on. And the issue with the Nigerian police is about welfare. Our security agencies are poorly enumerated, very poorly. Because you find out, let me tell you the truth, go and ask anywhere. If you retire as a commissioner, if somebody retires as a commissioner of police today, his monthly take-home pay, because of the compulsory contributory pension scheme that they are doing, will be 75,000 naira.
Wow, really?
So yes, go and ask. So if a man is the commissioner of police today in one of the states, and the governor says, do this one, do that one, I will give you 10 million, give you 30 million. What do you expect? You need to be able to check out the welfare of the people that are working for you. You need to be able to look at their benefits, because the Nigerian police force is poorly enumerated, poorly giving good care or service. They don't have barracks. They don't have anywhere to call their own. They don't have service vehicles. Do you know that in most of the DPOs handling the divisional police stations across Nigeria do not get anything to run their police stations? They are dependent on politicians, hustling politicians and talking to their local government who doesn't have resources to be able to give them something to own generator. There's no organized way of crime prevention and crime management within our police stations, especially maybe the ones you see in the metropolis like Abuja, Lagos and Rivers and other. But if you go to rural communities, these police people are treated, very, very below the standard that would be given to any public officer anywhere in the world. They are not given the necessary respect, the necessary, support that should be given to them. They don't have service vehicle. Even if they have, they can't get fuel. So they have to, send their boys out to be able to, get resources to get fuel. So there's no budget for any of our police stations across Nigeria. There's no budget. There's a budget, let them release it. So we can't have a police headquarters that is lavishly built, and you have police officers, in the headquarters living very, flashily, looking sparked up, and then the administration does not trickle down to local communities, to local police stations within, various localities within Nigeria. Then we have a big challenge, and that challenge is that we must have a government, a legislature that is willing to, do oversight function, that is willing to make laws for the good governance of this country, and an executive arm that is willing to execute same to make sure that we have a system that works for our people, and a police force well trained to be able to stop crime and not be part of the crime.
Very, very true. Thank you so very much, High Chief Peter Ameh. We truly do appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. People, that's just about the time we have. I'd love to believe you enjoyed our show today. Please make it a date tomorrow, because we'll be here to equally have some conversation. My name is Henry Igwebike, but please do well to visit us. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Thank you very much, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.